Alright, so I don't really have a script for this. I guess I'll just be kind of talking through some of my thoughts with, I guess, like all these like Rubik's cubing competitions and kind of what my goals are. So, where do I begin? I first got back into cubing mainly because I wanted to do well in blindfolded. Like my original goal was just to get sub-minute in blindfolded, and I would have been satisfied. Now, I've since come to UC Davis. I've joined kind of this keeping club that's here at university and going to these comps and learning so many new things. And my goals have kind of shifted. I think very much. I think now it's become a lot more ambitious, but I think yeah, I'm going somewhere with this. So pretty much, I think would be even cooler than just getting like sub minute and blindfolded because at this point I'm basically at that skill. Just with M2OP, like I can pretty much get sub minute if I just grind in enough solves. Now I want to do so much more. So I guess the first thing I want to do is to be able to learn three style over the summer and to be able to do some three style solves at La La Land. And La La Land, I actually have it marked over here. If this thing can respond. There you go. So yeah, this date right here is La La Land. I do want to be able to pick up three style by then. And then it kind of like spiraled into like more things. I saw this Reddit post and it was basically talking about how there's only a very select few amount of people who have competed in every event in the WCA. And ever since I did Sat Quiet a couple weeks ago, where I competed in the big blind events and multi blind, it kind of made me realize kind of like how far I can go with this thing. And so, again, I'm just gonna have to like bring this up here. Here's kind of this Reddit post that talks about this. Only 525 people have done all 17 events. And to begin with, I'm going into such a niche, difficult events like blindfolded to where this is something that I could actually do. And I think this is something that would be really cool. And so I kind of just like sat down and like thought about it some more. And I did create kind of this Notion page that does have like kind of my notes on every little event and all my different goals and everything like that. I'll kind of touch on these goals in a second. I do want to show the sheet again. So my goals have kind of shifted. I do want to do blindfolded. That's kind of my main event, but I do actually want to pick up all the other events, and I do want to be able to have all 17 events on my profile. And not even just that, because so far, like, I have added a few more events to my profile, but they're not very good singles or results. So, kind of as like a addendum, like, I do want to be able to at least be a 4-digit ranking in every single event. So, if we go look at my profile right now, if I can go over here, here's my profile right now. I just came back from Sat Keeping and Sat Quiet, so I did get a 9.03 average. I also got an updated blindfolded single. I dropped down my average by 10 seconds from 54 to 44 in 4x4. I have an FMC single, but I do not have the big blind or multi-blind successes on here. I did not succeed. Very difficult. Very close, but also very difficult. But anyways, as you can see, some of these events, I do have a result in them, but their ranking is pretty bad, or at least like pretty high. And so ideally, I want to be a 4-digit ranking for each of these events. And I've kind of gone ahead and did all the math and checked out kind of like, okay, what do I need to get a 4-digit ranking in each of these events? And so I kind of have them written down here as kind of my goals, but for most of these, they're not anything extraordinary. Like I'm still, my main focus is in blindfolded and probably like 3x3 and 4x4. Everything else is kind of extra, but essentially with these times, I should be able to achieve a pretty comfortable like 4-digit ranking. I don't know how hard it would be to actually achieve kind of these times. And so I'm basically going to see how this goes because I don't actually have every event mapped here, but there is kind of one particular reason why I'm kind of planning out when I should be picking up these events. And in general, it's just that this is something that I'm doing because I feel like it's some unfinished business that I want to get done. Like, blindfolded itself is not something that I'll be doing for the rest of my life. As long as I get sub 30 in one competition, I'll be satisfied. And that kind of goes with all these other events. Essentially, these are all achievements that I want to achieve, and after I achieve them, I don't really see any reason to keep going because, there's so many other things that I still want to do and pick up in my life. It's just that right now I feel like I've built up so much momentum to start kind of this whole keeping like WCA journey. And this is probably the best it's going to get because I'm in this Rubik's Cubing club. There's a lot of comps around me in NorCal. So it kind of makes sense that like here and now I'm going to be picking up all these different events and, just adding them to kind of my profile. At the end of all this, next year is Worlds, and I am definitely very much looking forward to that and kind of going with our club and getting to see everyone. But then after that, I hope I am done. I hope that I achieve everything I sought out to do. This is a very ambitious goal. Like, these are all very good times for these puzzles, and I am giving myself essentially 13 months to do everything that I can do, and then after that, it's it's pretty much it. Like, I think Worlds is going to be that kind of like penultimate thing that I'll be working towards, and then after that, it's essentially retirement. I mean, to begin with, I mostly do cubing for fun, but right now, it's something that I actually want to pick up seriously and kind of, yeah, go ahead and just be one of the few people who has successfully done every single event. I just think it's a really cool achievement. And the nice thing about it is that you don't necessarily have to be super fast in any of these events. You just have to have determination and will to learn, pick up, and practice all 17 of these events. And I think it'd just be something very cool to kind of like put down my name in history for that stuff. So my deadline is Worlds. I am looking forward to the road trip that we will do as a club. But other than that, like, that's basically what I want to do. And I've been doing a lot of reading. I've been watching videos of like all rounders and stuff like that. And it's really hard to pick up every event at once. So that's kind of why I'm trying to see how I can fit all these puzzle pieces together, when I should be picking up these events to kind of hit my desired goals. You can see that I have a solid green line that's blindfolded. I think that's something that I will always keep pushing because that's kind of like the event that got me back into cubing. But I do want to set like I want to set good results in all the other events that I want to focus in. And I guess I might as well go through kind of like, oh well, I'll explain the last few things on this sheet. So I have written down like dates of confirmed comps that will happen, and that's kind of how I planned around like, okay, when should I be practicing some of these events? Because there's some that I'm not going to be practicing at all, like 3x3, 2x2, 4x4. Like, I'm at a point where my times in those events are pretty solid and they're already 4-digit rankings, so they're not very high priority. Other things like Pure and Scube, I don't have them on here just because I know I'll be like busy with all these other events anyway. And my main focus really for practicing some of these other events is I want to make sure I make cutoff for SEC, or not SEC, for La La Land. And so I've gone ahead and taken notes on what I should probably like have a good time for by then. And so some of these I don't really think I need to practice so much, like Mega, because my 3x3 skill is already decent as is. 215 is not too bad. But on the other hand, Square One, like Clock, I just need to make sure I have enough time to practice for those events. Well, Clock is pretty short, but Square One is something I'll try to put some more time into. Other than that, it's the big cubes that I want to make sure I make cutoff for. Those are probably going to be the hardest ones to make cutoff for. But we'll see. And then basically, depending on my results from Sat Quiet and also La La Land will kind of determine kind of the rest of my timeline with everything else. But I've definitely mapped out the ones I definitely want to focus on. For example, FMC I think is something that's super interesting, and there's going to be like an FMC Worlds. So I definitely want to like pick up FMC, at least like be able to do at least a mean of 30 moves or less, which might be a little bit difficult. I don't know. We'll see. And also, I don't know why I have Mega red from this point onward, Well, anyways, we'll see where everything else places, but these are the events that I want to practice by La La Land and Sat Quiet, and we'll just see what happens. But I guess I do want to talk about the rest of my goals that I have on my Notion. So again, I organized kind of everything, all the different events here, and a bunch of notes. For 3 blind, I have notes on here, and same thing with like 4 blind. So yeah, I just have notes here. Everything else, I have written down kind of all the goals that I want to get done. So I do want to compete in all 17 events because that would make me a bronze member. And again, very few people have even achieved that, so I think that'd be really cool. Podium at least once. At this point, I think we'll just it's bound to happen. At least in blindfolded or another random event that I pick up, I feel like it will happen. So I don't think it's something I'm really fighting for. It's like this will happen throughout the process. By the time I have 17, all 17 events on my profile, I should have a small number of nemesizers. So we'll see how low I can bring it down to. One page is 50 people, so if I can bring it down to 50 people, I think it'd be really cool. Kind of the rest of my events that I definitely want to get good at would be 3x3, 3 blind. I'm probably going to change it. Sub 30 single I think is still fine. I think this can definitely be 20. I just realized I did like attempt 10 at Sat Quiet, and I definitely think by the time Worlds comes around, I definitely think I can do 20, or at least Sat Quiet. I don't think I can do multi-blind in Worlds. And then a 4 blind, 5 blind mean, that is extremely difficult. I would have to safety every solve, and even safetying doesn't exactly yield great results, so we'll see. Kind of my challenges here is, I mean, my pyraminx single isn't really that good, so I want to do a meme where like I can do pyraminx blindfolded. I want to be able to do a 3 style solve in 3x3, which that already will require an extreme amount of proficiency in in 3 style. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know if I'll ever pick up Brew, just considering how packed kind of my timeline is, but we'll see. I think already I'm pretty fast with CFOP, so I might honestly just stick with that, and Brew will just have to be something forever in the back burner, but it'd be cool to pick up. Tricubalon, I think it's just very cool to pick up all the 3x3 events and get pretty good at them. I'm already pretty good at 3x3, like just two-handed. One-handed, okay in. I could be faster relative to my two-handed times, and then really the main thing I need to bring down my times in is blindfolded. But I should be able to do it in under a minute. It would be really cool to do that. And it would be even cooler to do that in an official competition. Obviously not in a row, but to be able to set a sub 30 blindfolded single and then just do fine in OH and 3x3. I think that'd be really cool. One look at solve and comp is basically just doing 3 blind but in a sided solve, and 3-4-5 multi-blind relay. That would be basically like the testament to like how much I practice blindfold. I just think that'd be really cool to do. And then here I just have some comps I want to do. Worlds is kind of the thing, and then after that just I'll be done with it all. FMC, it would just be really cool to compete with all the other people around the world. 24-hour comp, that's already happening with La La Land, and an international comp as long as I just compete somewhere outside the US. I think that would be really cool. And I honestly, I don't know if I'll do this within a year, but I mean, the thing is like I think in general, like Worlds is gonna be when like after that, I don't think I'll be seriously practicing unless there's still some things that I want to get done. Otherwise, like I will be cubing pretty much just for fun and just for the social aspect of it, I guess. And so with the international comp, it's like if I ever travel around and there happens to be a comp, I'll go to it. And then on my map on the WCA website, on my profile, it will say that I have competed outside of the US. I just think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I think I've talked about just about all my goals and kind of what I'm set out to do. So yeah, I'm getting myself kind of a hard deadline of Worlds, and I feel like in general as people, we like when we have a deadline set in front of us, that's when we tend to take action. And I definitely see that I've kind of set a very ambitious goal, but I do want to be one of the very few who have set such a high achievement of competing in all the different events, being a bronze member, and otherwise just getting good at the events that I've set out to do. And I think that the thing that kind of makes this like I don't know, really interesting to me is the fact that I'm putting a time limit on myself basically. By worlds, I need to be good at all of these events. And I'll have to see how this balances with my school, my work, and just kind of other hobbies I want to get into. But again, I just don't think there's a better opportunity to really pick up cubing and kind of finish all this unfinished business. And not even just unfinished, but stuff I've added on top of that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how far this goes. I'll be checking back probably in 13 months from now when Worlds is about to happen, and I'll see how far I get with this. I'll be updating the sheet as I go and seeing if I, just like crossing off my checklist of things that I have already accomplished versus things I still need to work on. But yeah, we'll see how far this goes. Whew, yeah, very exciting times. But we'll see. We'll see. I really hope by the end of this, I think the events that I look forward to doing and getting good at the most is still blindfolded, and especially the big blind multi-blind events. I think I didn't expect to like be as interested in those as I am, but for sure I definitely want to get good at those too. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of learning, it's gonna be a lot of practice, but in the end, that is just a personal goal, a personal achievement that I hope to set out and just put my name in the history books. So yeah, I feel like I've stalled long enough. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I've covered. Yeah, we'll just see how all this plans out pretty much, and we'll just see how this balances with everything else. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll end the video. If I have everything else to say, I'll just like add that in like another video or something. All right. See ya.